and welcome. You're watching Newsx with me, Devika Chopra. The Indian Army has revealed that Pakistan attempted to target the Golden Temple in Amritsar with drones and missiles on the intervening night of May 7th and 8th in retaliation against India's strikes on 9 terror sites in Pakistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Senior Indian Army officer has said that Pakistan had no legitimate military targets and was expected to strike civilian and religious sites in India. The attack came in the early hours of May 8th. Pakistan launched a large-scale air assault using drones and long-range missiles under the cover of darkness. In a powerful display of operational preparedness, Indian Army has demonstrated how the air defense system, including the indigenous Akash missile system and the L-70 air defense guns, successfully intercepted Pakistani missile and drone attacks, saving several cities in the border state of Punjab. But at last, what we have to question here is, why is it once again that global readers have not really expressed their anguish over this information versus how quickly they spoke about the farmers' protests? Today they choose to be mum about the Pahalgam attack and the aftermath, and nobody seems to be questioning why Pakistani missiles and drones were targeted to begin with at civilian sites and religious sites in India. What does this really tell us? I take this conversation forward. I have with me Ramneet Singh Mann. We also have with us Mr. Harinder Sikka, Mr. Surinder Singh Lali, Foreign Affairs expert, and Major General SVP Singh with us on the broadcast. Let me begin this conversation with Major General SVP Singh. Major General Singh, I want to understand from your perspective, when the Pakistani army, sir, woke up on the morning of 6th and 7th May and of course realized that 9 terror sites and some of their most beloved terrorists had been wiped out by the Indian Army in precision strikes, what was the thought process in your assessment that would have taken them to the conclusion that it might be an opportune time for Pakistan to attack religious sites in India, where they've not only targeted a convent school in Jammu and Kashmir and border areas, where they've targeted a Gurdwara in border areas, but we're now also learning that drones and missiles were directly pointed and coming towards the Gondal temple.
Well, Devika, in warfare and in higher direction of war, the first aim of the soldiers and the...
Can you hear me? Hello?
You're hearing me, na?
Yes, sir.
I'm
Yes,
with you,
sir. Go
Devika.
ahead. Yes, sir. We can hear you.
So I was saying, in the higher direction of war, the first thing as per Geneva Convention is that you don't take as targets objectives like hospitals, religious places, schools, like that. Notwithstanding that, warfare has a history of the opposite kind. We have seen what has happened in the Ukraine-Russia war also very recently, and in the Israel-Gaza war. Coming to Pakistan, they haven't done that. Well, it is Pakistan, and their DNA is such that they will do such things. And yes, they hit the heart in Punch of the Gurdwara Sahib, which is Nagali Sahib, which is the seat of the J&K Sikhs. So it's going to have very serious repercussions in the time to come. It had never happened since 1947 in the 4 wars which had been fought with Pakistan. Now, this time round, the seat of the Sikhs, the sanctum sanctorum of the Sikh religion, the Golden Temple, the Harmandir Sahib, they try to target that because it is in their psyche that they will do. And one of the factors which may have dictated them to do and try to target Golden Temple was among the 9 targets which were hit, that Subhan Allah, this mosque which was there in Bahawalpur, it was one of the areas which was destroyed. Now, why it was destroyed? Because it was harboring terrorists. It was not a religious site. It was a religious site by construction as infrastructure. But it was being used for terrorists. And terrorists are the enemy of the state of India. So there's a distinct difference between Golden Temple and that. That is, you asked me, okay, what was in their mind? And yes, other thing was there that Pakistan wanted to show to their nation that we can retaliate. We can retaliate the Indian onslaught because it was a very, very well executed air strikes, missile strikes, which covered the 9 terrorist centers, the training centers of this. Now, but what we have to be very proud about is our Indian air defense system has come out as a solid shield of our nation. It not only protects our border, it goes across and destroys incoming enemy missiles and drones. So it has both been an interception and a strike force which the Indian Army Air Defense has come up with, or the entire air defense system, which is a layered system, fourfold, starting from this S-400s, and it comes in the midterm, the Akash, which has been a world beater. It has emerged as a world beater today. I must tell your viewers that just 2 days back, at a function, I had the opportunity of meeting Dr. Ramarao, the Akash man of India, the project director. And he told me that when he got into this project, Dr. Abdul Kalam, he referred to him as boss. And he said, I'm not your boss. Do you know who's your boss? So he was quiet. He said, Akash is your boss. And he said, I lived my life that way. And it has proved the point in the world. And next we come along, when we come, I'm not covering all the Air Force assets which were there. Then we come on to our Army Air Defense, which is the lowermost rank, which is covering the VAs, VPs, the vulnerable areas, vulnerable points, and Amritsar being a prime objective, prime city, a city of strategic interest to the country. It was very well covered. Our air defense cover was very solid, right down to the unit level. And what came of age here, I would say, was that the vintage, what we say the legacy equipment, the air defense L-70 guns, modified, upgraded, wonderful work done by our DRDO and other agencies to upgrade it, and great faith put into it by the Army Air Defense Corps, the Director Generals and the formation commanders. It did an exemplary job. It has a range of about 4 to 5 kilometers, effective range, can cover up to 12 kilometers. So that came into play when the innermost rung came, and we must credit them. At least they got a few drones down. Now, and apart from what was intercepted in the outer ring, outer perimeter, and the mid ring and outer perimeter. Now, let's go to the credit of the General Officer commanding the division, that they assessed very, very correctly. So it was right from the theater commander down to the corps and the division that Amritsar and the Golden Temple was well protected. The assessment of what the likely targets the enemy can do, and it was not that it was a religious place and we said, no, it cannot be targeted. We assessed the Pakistan, the enemy, and what they can do, the nature of their state. For them, none of these institutions, religious, schools, temples, they don't mean a thing to them.
Absolutely. I want to bring in Mr. Lali into the conversation as well. Mr. Lali, in your assessment, sir, what do you think Pakistan was hoping to achieve when it launched that strike at the Golden Temple? Were they really expecting that this would shake India's unity somehow?
Thank you, Devika. And first, allow me to salute Major General SPV Singh and all the defense forces serving and retired. I think it's an honor for me to be born in a country where we have such a distinguished and a disciplined army. Devika, Larry Summers said that Japan is a country of hospitals, Europe of museums, and China a jail. And allow me to add, Pakistan is a terrorist state with a rogue insurgent army. Now, getting to your question, what do you think Pakistan was trying to achieve? They've been trying to achieve since 1947, for the last 88 years, they've been failing and they will fail. Let me declutter this for you, Devika, and the audience, is that, Pakistan is not just in a financial or political crisis, they have an identity crisis. In 1940, mid-40s, this spun the narrative that Hindu or Musliman ikatthe nahi reh sakte, two-nation theory. In 2025, General Asim Munir is still ranting that same narrative. I mean, I don't know, there are no minorities any left in Pakistan, which Hindus is he talking about? And yet they've been talking about that we can't stay with the Hindus because that's the only way that rogue army can be relevant in that country. Because 65% Punjab went to them and 35% came to us. And with that busted ego and a severe identity crisis, Pakistan has been wanting to get back. I mean, they got really, really badly defeated in Bangladesh. We split the country into two. And ever since that, they've been trying to get back to India at the cost of their development. Their economy has been failing. That's probably the only country which has to go to the World Bank to fund a war. I mean, crowdfunding is happening. So they use especially us Punjabis because Punjabi is a common language. And for the longest time, they've been trying to get back to India through Punjab because it's a border state and the language being common. And unfortunately, we have to go to that part of Pakistan because that's where a lot of our history is. So Pakistan has been trying to to induce or effect or in a way convince the Sikhs and divide a wedge between the Hindu and the Sikhs. And I don't think there needs to be any point for guessing that God forbid, God forbid, God forbid, had they done that, they would have said it's the Indian army that has done it. So this is Pakistan's failure on how instead of working on their issues, they've been using Punjabiyat as a language. And although I'm a proud Punjabi, but I'm ashamed of this Punjabi army, which is almost 67% of Pakistan, which is responsible to what happened to the Bangladeshi women, which is responsible to the way they're treating, the people of Gilgit-Baltistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. I mean, that's probably the only army which has lost all wars, and I don't know where they've got those medals from. And yet, that's the only army which goes out and uses the might and the force on their own citizens. So, Devika, it's a rogue nation with an insurgent army which is trying very hard, especially the Punjabis, the sword arm. I mean, I'm sure the General Saab can add to it, that we are probably 15 to 20% of the Indian forces, and we are less than 2% of the Indian population. So obviously, Pakistan is failing and it will fail. And it's one of their failed efforts. And I'm so happy and proud to be born and brought up in a country where our forces are so professional. And thank God that we intercepted. Otherwise, Pakistan is up to their nefarious activities which they've been doing. And believe me, Devika, they will fail. And I'll get back to the second part about the Pannu once you allow me to come back, because I think there are more panelists also there.
Yes, absolutely. I appreciate that. Let me, on that note, bring in Mr. Harinder Sikka. Mr. Sikka, that was going to be, of course, my next question as far as Pannu is concerned. We saw that there was an attack in India on the 22nd of April, and within 6 days, Gurpalwant Singh Pannu puts out a threat against the Indian Army. Do these factors now clearly indicate that Pakistan's ISI is, of course, funding the Khalistani movement abroad? And secondly, does this also then make it clear that somewhere we have to take a position and an understanding of what is the role that London has to play going forward if they want to keep ties with India, given that in all our assessment becomes the common point of convergence when we talk about Pakistan's anti-India rhetoric and the Khalistani movement. The common point, the global convergence point becomes London at this point in time. So does India now need to take a very firm stance?
If you allow me, I was so touched by the General and my dear friend Lali. I'll like to just go a little pitch being a Navy officer. In 1971 war, India used a brilliant idea. They used small little ships with missiles, towed them all the way to Karachi on 4th of December and set up the fire. It lasted for 7 days. That's this history. Now this approach has been modified and taken to many times by Honorable Prime Minister. Be it Akash Tir, be it S-400, be it MR SAMS, Navik, they're all connected to the regional sites, regional satellites. And this one unique effort, which is integrated with IT and AI, has made us a different power to match with. And people are thinking, sitting and thinking, what has happened? Now, these missiles that we have launched, be it Karina or be it Sahibabad, they have hit areas where there has been a radiation effect from 4 to 5.5, 7 at Richter scale. Where is IAEI? Its job is to check and report these matters mandatorily. Where are they? Who's telling them to keep away or sleep till the cows come home? You know the damage that a mullah, so-called general, Asim Munir, whose total history is from jihad, one mistake will take him to take that country flat, absolutely. Before he touches a button, this is his ballistic whatever will be countered. He's seen that, but they are capable of all that. They've done it. If they can kill 28 innocents by asking, "Are you Hindu?" and dare to hit Gurdwara and try Harimandir Sahib, then thinking of that they will do something more nasty using the hundreds of pannus that they have amongst them, who are just nothing but puppets. For all you know, he might be a Pakistani mullah who's now called Pannu. We do not know his clear history. The result is for Pakis to see now. We attacked and left them alone. The Navy fleet was all ready. The BrahMos was all ready. Karachi would have been out of zone for the next 20 years, I guarantee you. And they, I think, understand this. But jihadis do not work on that. They are interested in those 72 hoors. And I think Pannu is also brainwashed on that. So much fear has come to India that Devband has directed in writing to all the 5 lakh madrasas that post Jummah namaz, they should curse Pakistan. In writing, that is the message. One in number Prime Minister has given to them and to rest of the world. What did Dr. Manmohan Singh, so-called a Sikh? I'm sorry he was not a Sikh. What did he do after 26/11? Nothing. Precious nothing. And Mullah thought, oh, we are talking like Manmohan Singh was, and this will also happen. It's an act of war which has been declared, and that is what has put Mamtas of the world in quiet zone. Now comes to England, you mentioned. UK understands it very well. The drama that is happening within their own country. 7 odd mayors are diehard Pakistanis, ex-Pakistanis. 3-4 of them don't even know how to speak English, and it is on the record in Parliament that people from ex-Pakistani origin who raped hundreds of young girls, their cases have been withdrawn or now never risen up. So now they are talking a different language. In Parliament, they said it is not anything else, not grooming gang. It is rape gang. So the changes are happening, and it's not very difficult if they make up their mind. India will take time to gather support. The reason being, what we have done to our legacy equipment, the war machineries, the AD guns and what have you, we have sent shivers down many spines. And
Yes.
Don't worry about US. Absolutely not. They will go up and down. Their game is different. But Russia stood standing by us, and so are many other nations. Israel is behind you. The message must go once and for all, no in bits and pieces. You make one more mistake, and that will be your last.
Okay. Ramneek Singh Man, bringing you into the conversation as well, I want to understand from your perspective, has that message after Operation Sindoor perhaps also reached the Khalistani forces or the anti-India forces settled abroad who feel that they can continue to stir problems in India? Have we, through taking on Pakistan and teaching them a lesson for a lifetime, also sent out then a message to the likes of Pannu, who clearly did have some sort of a role to play if Pakistan's first point of decision in a strike against India was to target our Christian as well as Sikh religious sites.
Good evening, Devika. So, I have a few views on this. To begin with, let me say thank you for your service. We have two ex-servicemen, one from the Navy, the other from the Army. General Saab, Commander Saab, thank you for your service, sir. And the general you were referring to was Major General Karthik C. Sheshadri. He's GOC 15 Corps, 15 Infantry Division, I'm sorry. And that's based in Amritsar. He was the gentleman officer who was conducting that press briefing to ANI, where he had categorically said that the Pakistanis were trying to target the religious installation, more specifically Darbar Sahib, Golden Temple. And not to forget, the highest sectoral seat for Sikhs is the Akal Takht Sahib, which is also in the same complex. Now, coming to Pannu, and well, he's a filthy small fly before the might of India, and I think not just Pakistan and the Khalistanis or the likes of them have got an idea of what is the military might of India, but also the collective West, which has been anti-India all these years, and who has supported Pakistan by, General Saab and Commander Saab referred to, that they get loans for fighting a war against India. So the collective West also is in jitters, and the shivers down the spine are not just for the Pakistanis and the Khalistanis and for the LETs and JMs of the world, but it is also for the military-industrial complexes in Turkey, in USA, and in China. For the very reason, like I had tweeted yesterday, हम अपने बच्चों को चीनी खिलौने नहीं लेके देते because they don't work, and Pakistanis have put up a whole defense system made in China. So I mean, what a laughable way of trying to protect their country. And another very important aspect which we should cover is that the DGISPR spokesperson is Lieutenant General Ahmed Chaudhry. He's, by the way, son of Sultan Bashiruddin. Sultan Bashiruddin Muhammad is a designated US terrorist, and he's somebody who was with Osama bin Laden. So you can understand the deep connections between the Pakistani state, the Pakistani military, their establishment, and the terrorists. So I don't see much difference between the terrorists who had carried out the April 22nd attack in Pahalgam and the Pakistani army, because it's the same intent. They are trying to target innocent civilians in India because they don't have any legitimate military targets in India. And by the way, like General Saab, I'll take a leaf from there, was mentioning that we have a multi-layered, he specifically said 4-layered defense system. Sir, please add one more layer. We have an anti-satellite system also, ASAT. So the moment we wish to bring down a defense satellite, these Chinese and these Americans and these Pakistanis will go blind. Technically, if I may use this word, they'll go technically blind. They can't see anything flying or any other thing working. Now, as far as Markaz Subhanallah is concerned, it is one of those 9 targets of the Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Taiba. One was in Murid K and the other was in Bahawalpur. So any of these, you call them masjids or even, if you look at hadith and you look at how Islam is practiced, masjid is not a religious place, period. Masjid is a place for congregation or prayer. It is not a religious place, whereas a gurdwara, a church, a temple, they are all places of religion. They are all religious places. So, we targeted legitimate non-state actors, and like General Saab was mentioning, there are 3 entities that the global rule of order recognizes. One is uniformed people like Sikha Saab and General Saab. The other would be civilians like me and Lali, and the third will be the non-state actors, like the Jaish-e-Mohammed or the Lashkar-e-Taibas of the world. So we had targeted our legitimate targets, the non-state actors, and Pakistan should actually thank India, because it's repeatedly said that we have a major terrorist problem that we're not able to deal with. So we've actually helped them eradicate, eliminate the terrorist problem within their country. So, in my opinion, also would wish to get a briefing of, if the country can be apprised of, because Pakistanis had shot a Shaheen ballistic missile towards India, which was intercepted by a S-400. This is what a briefing is also come about.
Yes.
What was the trajectory and what was its target is also something that the country needs to know.
Okay, I want to leave a last word with Mr. Lali. Mr. Lali, I have 1 minute left. Over to you on the aspect of Gurparvan Pannu.
These are inconsequentials, nincompoops, nourished in the West, maybe by the CIA, under the bogey of free speech to create a nuisance value for a country which is going to become from the fourth to the third largest economy. So these are simply, rogues that are used to keep us on the back foot. I mean, I don't think Pannu qualifies to be a Sikh either. I mean, amongst the 5 articles of faith, he doesn't even wear a turban. He's unshorn hair. He doesn't even have shorn hair. So I don't think he in any way stands up for the Sikh community. 87% of us live in India, and we are well qualified and competent and eligible within the parentheses of the Indian law in the frequent elections that we have to take care of our interests. So I don't know what these referendums and what these so-called organizations do. And Devika, my last point is, what do we expect from a country like Pakistan, where proxy war is part of their DNA? The first proxy war was started by Muhammad Ali Jinnah in 1947-48, when he sent the Pashtun tribes across the border to fight our Indian army. Thank you, Devika.
Right, absolutely. On that note, I thank all of our guests for joining us on the broadcast with that perspective.